Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Janette White, property investor, property trainer, property mentor, property coach. Been doing property now for 12 years-ish, I think. Came through one of the big companies, and I know that quite a few of you already know me, but there's also loads of people that I don't know. So hello to everybody I don't know. It's fabulous to see you. And I wanted to talk about numbers, only because I didn't know what to talk about really. There was lots of subjects that I thought, let's go back to basics and let's talk about some numbers. And we were having a chat, Claire and I, about what it is that you guys may or may not want to know about numbers. And because we're not 100% sure, she said some of you guys might be very new and some of you sound as though you're extremely experienced. So big question really in the chat box. New, medium, experienced. What are you and where should I put this? And do you have any specific questions about numbers? You put in the chat box while I figure out how this whiteboard works. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, that's terrible. New. Okay, fabulous. Let's see if there is an undo. There is an undo. I can take that bit off. Medium, very old, David. So David Howard's coming up after me. He is very, very old. How old are you now, David? 102? Medium. Right, okay. Does anybody have any specific questions on numbers? Or do you all feel absolutely confident, 100% nailed it? Or would you like some more information about it? Yeah, Tina, I know you've been around for a long time. I have seen you in so many different situations. So it's lovely to see you in real life. Okay, anybody got any specific numbers they would like to go through? Is anybody doing a deal right now? We can walk through it. This is very difficult to do this. Different strategies, numbers, holiday accommodation. I'm looking at buy-to-lets or HMOs. Preferably, I think buy-to-lets is something I'd like to look at. Claire and I were talking, and we were talking about people trying to get properties with no money left in. So money in, money out deals, which is in this hot market, pretty much nigh on totally impossible. Certainly in my area. And I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's really, really, really difficult. So you've been through everything. You've been around through peaks and troughs, she says, since 2003. There we go. So how do you guys currently operate and how do you currently put in an offer? So as you don't seem to be chatting to me too much, and I need somewhere to go with this presentation, yeah? In your experience, what would be the baseline for ROI investing? Kazim, that is a fabulous, fabulous question. And thank you so much, Boom, for asking it. Return on investment is something that, before I even go in there, yeah, I am not a financial advisor. I am not FCA regulated. I am not about to tell you anything that is definite 100%, because whenever I work out my numbers, everything is variable, okay? What is an achievable baseline ROI? It depends on what it is you want to achieve, okay? And depends on where you're operating and depends on how you see it. So if you think about your standard return on investment terminology, you would say it's annual cash flow divided by money left in the deal. Okay, so annual cash flow divided by money left in. But if you are investing down in the south, for example, a lot of people are not getting huge amounts of cash flow. So if you simply ran your ROI on cash flow, you might think, not really working for me. But people still invest down in the southeast. Why? Because of capital uplift. So how can you calculate capital uplift if you're just thinking one-dimensional with your annual cash flow divided by money left in? I always think And I always look at areas where I'm thinking, is there any kind of capital uplift? I live in Sheffield, okay? And yes, there are areas here where I am getting capital uplift and cash flow. And so it's a double whammy, isn't it? When it comes to property investing, it is a double whammy. And you have to be in it to be able to benefit from capital uplift as well as cash flow, okay? It really does become very, very challenging, and yet you have to take the plunge at some time. After training hundreds, if not hundreds, thousands of people, I still meet one or two people that have not done anything with their property journey simply because they get so fixated that they have to get 50% return on investment or higher. I'm training people to look at sort of 20 to 30% return on investment. I think that's far more realistic, but it does depend on where the money is coming from as well to get the money in the deal and to leave that money in the deal. I hope that kind of makes sense. Let's have a look at some of the questions now that you've all woken up a little bit. Could you share your slides or docs with, oh, hold on. Could you share with Claire, and then she can show them on the screen while you're talking. I don't have any, Catherine, the whole point was that I had my iPad. There goes the pen. I have my iPad. I want you to interact with me. This is supposed to be a teaching session. So to do teaching, we have to interact. And I can't do it for some reason. I simply can't do it on here. All I can do is try my best with this system. Oh, well, actually, hold on, that might work a bit better. Everyone needs the fundamentals, Jackie. Sometimes it's seriously overlooked in favor of the rah-rah. That cover said, what a deal to one person isn't the same as a deal to another, which is exactly what I was saying to Trish. Yeah, if you've got £1 million in the bank, yeah, and you're not very savvy, you've probably got it earning a very small interest rate. And in fact, I was chatting to David earlier on today. If you've got 30, 40, 50,000 pounds in the bank account, what are you earning at the moment? Just put in there what you think, but what are you currently earning? If you've got £50,000 in a bank account, what currently are you earning in the way of interest rates? Because that's what you're comparing it with. If you are buying a buy-to-let property, let's say a standard buy-to-let property, this is a hole in the wall that gives you money every single month. And let me tell you, if you leave your £50,000 in a bank account, it is not going to be producing anywhere near the sort of cash flow. So let's have a look. We've got some answers in here. 0.03%, Claire saying. Diddly squat, David says. And Trish, 0.7%. Gary, 50p. Gary, I'll double it. I'll give you £1. Want to give me the money? Technically, it's losing money against inflation. Claire, you're absolutely right. And that's what David and I were talking about this morning. David was talking about the cost of a Mars bar. I'll let him go into that later on. But the bottom line is it does not earn anything like the sort of money you can earn in property. And what we're doing is we leverage the bank's money, okay? So Gillian's saying £200 for buy-to-let, £800 per calendar month for HMOs, which is way different to what you're getting in the bank. Yeah. So if you have seen a property on the market, let me see if I can do something with you more creative. If you see a property on the market, it is on the market at £120,000. I'll write these numbers down. So I hope you've got your pens and your calculators with you. Yeah. You've seen a property on the market. It is £120,000. Okay, you've done some research on market. You've done some research and you think the rent you could achieve for this property is £695 per calendar month. And your refurb, well, you've had a quick look around it. And whilst you're not an expert, you'd probably say it's about £15,000. Okay, so about £15,000 refurb. What's the final jigsaw, the final piece you need to know to be able to run some sort of numbers and put in an offer? Anybody? What's your final thing you're going to need to know?
The interest rate.
Haha, thank you. Yes, the interest rate is one thing. Is that the interest rate on the mortgage that you're talking about?
Yes, that's the one.
Interest rate on the mortgage. You need the interest rate in the mortgage. So you are correct. We'll need interest rate on the mortgage. Claire, what's current interest rate on a decent buy-to-let mortgage? In my own name.
In your own name?
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, 2.84.
2.8. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll do me 2.8. Done up value, yeah. So, of course, it's Simon who said it first. Well done, Simon. Bless him. Yeah, you can't do anything without your done up value, at least some sort of idea of done up value. And a couple of other people are coming in with that now. The cost of money is a huge factor. Okay, good point. Running number stroke holding costs, including maintenance and voids, insurance, and the mortgage costs per month. Trish has gone overboard there. At this point in time, when we start, okay, we just need to get an offer in. We need to get an offer in with some sort of idea as to whether or not it's going to be worth doing the deal, yeah? Now, again, apologies. Oh, here we are. I can do a straight line. Da! Ha, ha, there we go. Right. That's good. Right, we need done up value. So DUV, guys, stands for done up value. Now, this particular property, the done up value is 160,000. Now, is that going to be realistic? What did I say for refurb? Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to say 150,000. Now, these are only made up numbers, so don't shoot me. Not yet, anyway. In order to be able to calculate what you're going to leave in the deal after you've refinanced in some form or another, you need to say, okay, I will probably get at phase 2, Critish yield, no. Who gives a flying fish about yield? Absolutely no. I just want you to get rid of that. Ding, 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 ding. No. I'm getting a 3-day basic flashback. I didn't do your 3-day basic. I do momentum, or used to. I'm not with them anymore. 75% loan to value is your standard mortgage being offered at the moment. Okay, so what is 75% loan to value on the 150,000? Anybody want to share in the chat box if you've got your calculators? Anytime. Yeah, 75% loan to value is 112,500. That's the money coming out of the deal at phase 2. No yield, we invest for cash flow. So ROI is the important number. Absolutely. Yes. And well done, Claire. Thank you. Yeah, 112,000. We do not look at yield. If you ever, and this is something that newbies do an awful lot, and I've done it on mentorships. We've gone into an estate agent and they said, and we've talked to them and they've said, look at this wonderful buy-to-let property. This will work all day long for you. The yield is 7%. And when we come out, somebody said to me, wow, the return on investment is 7%. And I said, no, that's the yield. Your yield calculation is a completely different thing and is not relevant to any property investor. Yeah. So do not look at yield. One of the things you've got to realize is estate agents are regulated and they are not FCA regulated. I am not FCA regulated, but they cannot tell you what your ROI is going to be because they don't know how much money you're going to be borrowing. They don't know what the interest rate is. They don't know how much you're going to spend to put in it. And as Tina's already put in the chat box, yeah, there's so many other things that you might want to be calculating in this calculation. For now, I just want to work out what offer I'm going to put in. Okay. Yield is what super rich people use to assess cash employed versus income. Yeah, possibly. Yes, quite possibly. I'd have to sit and study that one, Simon. Right. Okay. So we now know that when we refinance this, we know that the done up value is 150,000 and that there's 112,500. Now, you might find, guys, that there is somewhere in this area, some sort of capital uplift. I'm going to put that in there. Let's say the capital uplift, I'll pick a relatively reasonable amount of capital uplift, and I put 3%. So where I invest, it's between 3 and 5%, and it has been that way for the past sort of 7 or 8 years. Now, I cannot guarantee that's going to continue, but it's always the icing on the cake. All right. The cash flow is our bottom line. So we've got to buy cash flowing assets, but the capital uplift is that icing. That's the beauty. And that's why people get involved in property, is the capital uplift, because it can be substantial, guys. So in the first year of owning this property, it's going to go from 150,000 in value by another, it's going to go up by 4,500 in value. Okay, and that's my icing. I'm just saying that's my icing. Okay. Now we need to know what the rent is. We need to make some adjustments for monthly operating expenses, some adjustments for management fee. I highly recommend that you use a management company. I tried to run one once, and it's a lot of work. I now do not begrudge anyone running their own management company. Do it. It's great. You go ahead, because it drove me nuts, absolutely nuts. Right. Okay. So interest rate, we said 2.8%. And we also want to put in here what the rent is. And I said rent wise, we were looking at, what did I say, 695, yeah. Now, oops, hold on. What I would like to do is I will run the cash flow based on a 2.8% mortgage rate. However, okay, we don't know what's going to happen to mortgages. Much as we know that the banks are extremely happy and continue to rent at some very, very good rates, okay, we are going to run it just in case at 6%, just as a buffer, just so as we know, okay? But what happens if interest rates go up to 6%? What's going to happen to the rent that we charge, guys? Answers in the chat box. Interact with me, so I know. You can unmute yourself, by the way, if you do want to. Excuse me. Now, I put in place some monthly operating expenses, and I usually do that at 10% of the rent that comes in. So 10% would be, I'm going to say £70, okay? So I'm going to take £70 off for just general expenses every month. Now, obviously, you will find in real life, you are not spending expenses every month. A lot of months are absolutely nothing at all. And a lot of months, you know, sorry, a lot of months you've got nothing, and then you'll have one thing come in and it's sort of a boom type hits you. Then you've got your management fee. Is there some, we've got experts here. Who is the management company and how much do you charge as you fully managed service? Anybody? Anybody want to unmute themselves? And do we have, Claire, is there anybody here that's a management agent?
I think Christy and Si kind of do it,
don't
a bit
use
differently,
ours.
don't you?
Ours is
No.
Asset protection, and that's only 5%, so don't use it.
Yeah, yours is different. I think on the market, it depends on what your strategy is, but it's between sort of 10 and 14%, I would say.
Yeah, my area, it's 10% plus VAT, so I always put in 12%. So I'm doing that at 12. Oh, hold on, that ran out of space, isn't it? Better. And then we have got, I have a flat manager and they charge me 10%. So Bev, it's probably 10% plus VAT. And because we're investing in property, unfortunately, you're not going to be VATable. So you're not going to be getting that VAT back. You can't charge that on rent, by the way. Something I didn't know when I started property investing. To be honest, I didn't know anything when I started property investing. So for those newbies here, don't worry, you do learn as you go. So mortgage. Yes, it is plus VAT. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so mortgage rates. Now, guys, particularly those who are new who don't know how to do this, guys, what is your mortgage rate? What is it you're paying every month for your mortgage? Anybody want to get your calculators out and participate?
I'm paying 8% on a remortgage.
You're paying 8%. What sort of property is it?
Yes.
Sorry,
That seems a lot, doesn't it?
it
It's
seems
the,
that,
the circumstances behind that, Janette, really, but that it is very high.
right, okay. Depending upon the property type and depending on your own situation, they can charge higher rates. But as you can see, if you can get yourself in a position where you can get a better mortgage, this can be significant. And sorry, I don't know who it was who said that, but if you were to look at 112,500 and you were paying 8%, that's £9,000 a year. So that is £750 a month. It wouldn't cash flow. Okay, so my recommendation is if you can get a little bit below that. Gillian, you're saying you're paying a 3.56 on HMOs. That's brilliant. That is a very good rate for HMOs. I'm going to do the 6%. So let me pick on something. Gillian, how much is my mortgage at 6% on 112,500? Any thoughts, Gillian? Are you there?
I'm not very good with numbers.
You're not very good with numbers. That's okay, darling. That's okay. Listen, you just put in the 112,500 in your calculator. Yeah. And you've got this wonderful button. It's called a percentage. I didn't know this stuff when I started. When I came into property, yeah, I sat in a big classroom full of loads and loads of people. And I thought, people started talking numbers and I thought, nope, Janette, you're in the wrong room, the wrong place. Everything about this is wrong. I shouldn't be here because I don't know how to work this stuff out. Okay, but you can do it. Just takes practice.
It's 6,750 a year.
So divide it by 12.
It will be 562.5.
Brilliant. Well done. You see, you can do it. I'm going to put 563. But what's the same calculation at 2.8%? She says doing it far too fast myself and just got it wrong.
3,150
divided by 12
is 262.5.
262.5. And well done to Claire and Kirsty. Fantastic. Well done. So we can now work out our cash flow, yeah? This is after we've done the purchasing and everything like that. At the 6% rate, 695 minus £70 minus £84 minus £563 gives us a minus figure. So minus, yes, Claire, absolutely. Well, Claire, how come you got 22 and I got 32? What did I do wrong? Anyway, who's going to buy that property?
Probably me.
That was probably me, Claire. I do this all day, every day. Well, not really, but I do this quite a lot. But I just get fat finger syndrome. Who would do the deal? Anybody? Anybody in for that? Put yes or no in the chat box. I'm going to force you to answer me. Yes or no in the chat box. Would you do the deal?
So is that your profit, the CF?
That's your profit if you work out at 6%.
Right.
Yeah, that's your stress testing at 6%. Different people stress test at different rates, and the mortgage company do their own stress test. But everybody's saying no, they're not interested in the deal at the moment. Fair enough. But in reality, we're not going to be paying 6%. Okay, so some training companies will teach you to look at 6%, and they don't then take it to the next level. Yeah, you won't be paying 6%. How long ago was it? Anybody who's been doing this a long time, how long ago is it since you were being charged 6% on mortgages? It was a substantial length of time ago. And what happens if, yeah, 15% back in 1991. Okay, so what's that, 30 years ago? I wasn't around then, honest. I wasn't around then, Tina. These aren't wrinkles on my face. If the interest rate looks like it's going to go up, what's going to happen to your rents? Okay, so quick question. What's going to happen to your rents? They go up. Well done. Fantastic. Yeah. Right, so let's have a look at real rates on this. 695 minus the £70 minus the £84 minus the £263 equals, in reality, this, all being well and no guarantees, will cash flow us £278. Now who's in for buying it? Yes or no in the chat? Yes or no in the chat, guys? Come on, just, are we liking the cash flow? 278, yeah? Yes, yes, and yes. So a completely changed situation. Gillian's still saying no because she likes her HMO. Too low a cash flow. Okay. But, right, so here's the next thing. And I've started doing this now because the market is so hot, right? You have to be thinking about this return on investment market. As somebody says, what's your return on investment? Well, if you're looking to get your money out through cash flow over 5 years, you could afford to leave 5 years worth of cash flow in the deal. Okay, let's come back to that. Let's do the yearly cash flow. Okay, so 278 times by 12 equals, so I don't know where these buttons are on my computer. I always do this by hand. Right, through the cash flow, it's bringing us in £3,336. Yeah, brilliant, Seymour, fantastic, thank you. That has got me in the mood for some cash flow, for the cash flow game. Do you play the cash flow game? I can't find anybody who plays it. I love the cash flow game. All right, so, but the bottom line is, so that's our cash flow. So owning this property, more or less, yeah, we're hoping that the capital uplift will bring us in an extra £4,500 a year. You can't spend that at the shops, guys. Don't think you're going to go and, you know, line up in flipping Tesco's and say, can I buy out my equity, because it ain't going to happen. The cash flow is 3,336. But how much money are you going to leave in the deal? Now, I did say there was a refurbishment to be done on this property. Okay, we got £15,000. Oh, sorry, I'll just put refurbishment there. Refurb is 15,000. Oh, excuse me. Anybody want to tell me what they would generally pay on legal fees?
Joy, you're the legal person.
So, yeah, who's the legal person?
Me.
Joy.
I'm keeping quiet because I want to see what everybody else says.
We normally earmark about 2,000, but that, it depends, I suppose.
Would that be for buying it and refurbing it, refinancing it?
Yeah, for both.
Yeah, okay, we'll put 2,000 in.
Do you agree with that, Joy?
Well, it depends on, yeah. As long as
Well, my broker fee is £500 because I'm expensive.
I don't blame you, but I don't blame you. Your market rate, that's not expensive, that's market rate. Yeah, and I know that you'll get me a good deal. Are you a whole of market?
Yeah, whole of market. Yeah.
So you're working for me. I'm quite happy to pay you £500. So that'll be £1,000 for both, because at some point I will need a second mortgage on that, you know, a refinance at some point. Yeah. What about surveyor cost? Anybody? Just a little buy to let.
About 200 probably.
Oh,
Don't know. Again, Joy.
Simon's saying 500.
I don't know, because I just pay what the lender wants, and I don't know a surveyor.
Usually the lender will charge you for the surveyor's fee, so absolutely. Home buyers report around 550. So Simon's saying, so yeah, I put 600 just to cover myself a little bit. Yeah. And then ultimately we got stamp duty. Now, when you're going to put in an offer, this is really hard because the stamp duty is going to be variable all the flipping time, isn't it? It's on the market at 120,000. So I'm going to say, well, what if I'm going to buy it at 120,000? Anybody got a stamp duty calculator with them? Because my phone has rebooted and I lost my stamp duty calculator. I think it's 3,600 at a straight 3%.
I should know this in my exams not long ago.
Oh, really? Did they cover that? That's brilliant.
Yeah, we do mortgage exams. You have to work out the stamp duty and everything for everyone.
I just want to say as well, Claire, well done for becoming a qualified mortgage broker during lockdown. I think that is absolutely amazing. Yeah, Simon's with me. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, good. And that's buying it at 120,000. Okay, so I'll just put that in there so I know what that stamp duty is based on. This gives me a rough subtotal. Okay, you could go in all day. If you want to go into really fine details, I'm not going to go into fine details because we only just want to put in an offer. Yeah, we want to put in an offer. So what's the offer going to be? So I've got a subtotal. I tally all this up: 15,000, 2,000, 1,000, 600, and 3,600 gives me 22,000. Sorry, David, you weren't planning on talking for very long, were you? Oh, okay. So what's the money in, money out number, guys? If we want to get all our money put out, which is what I would call the tipping point, but for me, you've got to work it out in order to be able to work out how much money you're going to leave in a deal. I don't know what sort of knowledge you guys have got, but if the money coming out of the deal is 112,500 after financing, okay, you take that figure and you minus off all of your costs. So that subtotal. So I put 112,500 minus the 22,200 means if I can buy it for 90,300, I'm all money in and all money out. That is brilliant, Claire. Superb. But that's not realistic, okay? Honest to God, your estate agent is going to look at you and think, you've got a spare head. You know, I tell you what, don't bother putting in those offers. Don't bother coming around here anymore because you're just wasting everybody's time. So someone was saying, what is our bottom line ROI? Now, if we are simply gauging the ROI on cash flow, we know what our yearly cash flow is 3,336. And if we wanted to achieve a 20% ROI, that would be 5 years worth of cash flow. Okay, so we can take that 3,336 times it by 5. We can afford to leave 16,680. So when we're running our cash flow, we know our figures, we know that's how much we can leave in the deal. Now, money in, money out is 90,300. So we add the 16,680 to that. So 90,300 plus 16,680 means our offer could be 106,980. And I'm just going to double check this. So 106,000, which of course you're not going to do. So I'm just going to put 107,000. Okay. And we're just going to double check this. So if we bought it at 107,000, how much money is being left in the deal? Who have I lost? Who is lost? Put your hands up if you're lost. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. Rebecca's lost. Anybody else lost? Yeah. Okay. Somebody else has raised their hand as well. Brilliant. Okay. Think about this. If we buy it at 107,000, but the target price was 90,300, what's the difference? How far have you gone over? That's what I'm trying to work out. How far have I gone over that amount of money? So we look at the offer price at 107,000 and we minus the 90,300. And we've gone over by 16,700, which was the plan, to be fair. Yeah. 5 years worth of cash flow. Okay, that was the plan, to leave 16,700 in the deal. Now, remember, this is a calculation. Oh, what did I do there? Hold on, sorry. Back to the text. Cash flow, just to check ourselves, was £3,336. Okay, sorry, that's ended up in the wrong place, but you know, you'll have to bear with me. I am working on one of these whiteboards. So you simply put in your calculator 3336, and that line means divided by, so divided by 16,700 equals, now 0.1999 don't mean anything. You times it by 100. If that decimal point is in the wrong place, you get so confused. But your return on investment here is 19.97%, which is as close to 20% as you need to worry about. Now, is this accurate? Of course not. Is it actually going to go like this? Absolutely not. Okay, but you need to start somewhere. You need to be putting in offers that are a little bit more realistic. Questions whilst I just prepare myself for one last training point here. Anybody got any questions? Please write them in the box. Or unmute yourself.
What was the market value? What were they selling it for? You've got the done value up there.
Yeah, they were selling it for 120,000.
And we put an offer in of 107.
107.
That's more realistic, isn't it?
You're closer to it than money in, money out. If you were trying to do an offer at 90, yeah, they're not going to bother, are they? And to be honest, I would even consider it, I might even consider it at 120,000. Would you like to know what the return on investment is at 120,000? Full asking price.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't sound that enthusiastic.
I was trying. Yay.
Right, okay. What if you offer 120,000? Your cash flow isn't going to change, correct? But money left in is going to go up dramatically, isn't it? 120,000 minus the 90,300 means you're leaving in the deal 29,700. Yeah. We buy for our clients lots of stuff at asking price currently. Simon, so do I. I buy stuff at asking price. Why am I buying it at asking price? Well, we're going to go into that bit in a few minutes. Yeah, absolutely 100%. Trish, in a competitive market, trying to cut everyone to 25% discount means more deals lost than gained. And if you're not in it, you're not going to win. Absolutely, Trish. If you're out there putting in those 25% below market value offers, forget it. Yeah, there's very, 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 very few deals out there. And they wouldn't be a standard buy to let. It'd be something that you would buy and convert and make value that way. Oh, I'm sorry, Gillian, you're missing out. Okay, guys. So when we are working out our ROI, are we working out the percentage and how long it will take to make the money back through the cash? Oh, hold on, you're all, hold on. Who's asking this question? Rebecca, can you unmute yourself? Let's have a quick chat.
Hi, I'm just a bit lost.
Okay, ask me that question in real life, because ask that question again.
What I was asking was, when we're working out the ROI, is it that because you did the 336 times 5, so is it that we're working out how long it will take to make that money back that's left in the deal? I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense.
No, it does make sense. It does make total sense. And don't worry, there's no stupid questions, yeah? I didn't have a flipping clue about this when I started, yeah? And what I was saying in my head, I put my hands up saying, yeah, I'm going to buy a property. And I'm saying in my head, I must be barking mad. I don't understand any of this. So a lot of people work ROI out based on cash flow. And the cash flow is 336 a year. And if you're basing ROI on cash flow, well, you write this down. 5 years is 20% cash flow. So write it down on your book. 5 years equals 20% ROI on cash flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 years equals 25% ROI on cash flow. Yeah. And 3 years is 33% ROI on cash flow.
Okay.
Okay. But there's a key thing now that people are losing out on deals because they're so fixated on cash flow. Okay. If we were to buy this and run the ROI, excuse me, apologize for having a cough. And we were to buy it at full asking price, you still might turn around and say, well, so you look at 3336 divided by 29,700 equals times by 100. It's still only 11.2% ROI. Now, does that sound exciting, Rebecca?
Not as exciting as the 20%.
Not as exciting as the 20%. What if, and I'm running out of room on my board, what if I added capital uplift to this? What if I said, well, hold on, I own it. And in the first year, just the first year, I'm going to get value of 4,500 in that first year. What if I add that to my cash flow, to my 3,300? I'm going to run out of room on my whiteboard, so bear with me here. And we'll see how excited you are about this, Rebecca. I hope you're still you're still there. 4,500 plus 3,336 equals 7,836. Are you with me, Rebecca?
I'm here, yeah.
Good. Divide that now by my 29,700, because that money is still left in the deal. And times your answer by 100. My real ROI is now 26.38%. And the key thing for you to know, understand, and think about is that, hold on, see if I can draw a circle. This is what your competitors are looking at. So when you're going in and putting in offers at 90,000 or 107,000, somebody else is thinking, hold on a minute, I can buy that at the asking price and I'll still make a 26% return. And by the way, that capital uplift in year one goes up substantially because it is compounded. Now you can't spend it at the shops. Yeah, you can't spend it. It's just there. What I'm concerned about is that people are walking away from deals, as Tina's already said on her chat, yeah, and you're not looking at it with your eyes fully wide open. Guys, capital uplift is of value to you. And if you're not in it, you'll never get in it. Rebecca, you still there?
I'm here.
Do you like the sound of 26.38?
Of course I do, yeah.
Quick question to everybody else in the chat. Are you in this? Are you up for a deal at 120,000? Are you happy to pay asking price on this?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. 100% agree, says Simon, because of the capital uplift. Yes. Ben, oh, brilliant to see you, mate. Really good. I haven't seen you for ages. I haven't read all that, sorry. Ben, do you want to unmute yourself and quickly go through what you said there? Or are you happy?
Oh yeah, hi Janette, how are you? Good to
Hi,
see
I'm good. Go on, tell me what that says.
you. So basically I went to view a property and it was only looking for offers between that, entertaining offers between 90 and 100. It was on for 90. Needed quite a lot of work. I worked out about £16,000 for the refurb. I looked at comparables, and the latest one on Rightmove was June 2020, which went for 77,300, and that was to a good standard and exactly same square meterage. The one after that went for 90,000 in January 2019, and again it was the same square meterage plus minus and a good comparable. So and when I spoke to the valuer of this estate agents, she said you probably could get 100,000, maybe 105,000 at a push. So my offer would have been around 56, 57. So it's like, obviously I didn't offer that. I explained why and stuff. So things like that, obviously, just to do the normal view offer strategy wouldn't be possible unless you try to do a lease option or another strategy. Am I right in saying?
Well, okay, what I would recommend then is go to Rightmove and have a look at sold prices, okay? And just put in the postcode area or the area in words.
Yeah.
Under sold prices, it gives you, on Rightmove, it gives you a bit of a summary of any changes in capital uplift. As I say, this one, I'm just giving you an example of an area that I particularly work a lot in. And over the past 10 years, it's always, every year's gone up between 3 and 5%. So I'm comfortable with that. Yeah. My first property I bought there for £64,000. They're now going, literally one around the corner has just gone on the market at £160,000. Yeah. That's like, wow, if I hadn't jumped on that first one, and £64,000 when I bought it was huge, it needed a refurb and was our first ever property. Okay, so my husband, Barry, he's there painting it. So, that's not what we've been taught to do, dear. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So go and have a look, re-look at that property and just see, are there properties in the area that are experiencing capital uplift? Now, there are some areas that even now are not experiencing capital uplift. Maltby, by the way, one of those areas. Edlington, one of those areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are areas that do not go through this, okay?
Yeah,
but if there is, have a look, have a rethink, because if you're not in it, you're not going to win it. And I think I'm going to have to stop there because I've gone way over, haven't I? Oh my gosh, David, I'm so sorry. Sorry, David.
No, it's fine. It's helpful. This has helped me, to be honest, because it takes you back to those training days, and this makes it far more realistic. And like I said, we're out at the moment looking for buy-to-lets and stuff like that, and we're doing it the old way, and it's like, oh, we'd have to put this in, and it's like, no, it just makes it so much better. And you don't get taught about the capital uplift, and like you said, it doesn't work everywhere, but there are certain areas that will.
There are huge numbers of areas. There is, so I mean, and Simon's put some very interesting, so I know I can see Simon's putting some very interesting things in there. Simon did the same training as I've done, so as has Ben. And I know that, you know, particularly in those areas where social housing is not just a little bit of social housing, but there's loads of it. There's sort of social housing where the social housing companies say, no, don't want to go there. those are the areas where you were not getting capital uplift. Okay, but there's plenty of buy-to-let areas, decent areas where you can get your foot on the ladder, and these are the sorts of deals you can get. Guys, you've just got to be a little bit more intuitive and aware of the numbers. Yeah, do not run away from them. If you don't get it, shout. Yeah, if you don't get it, shout out, just say, I need some extra help. Somebody please sit down and help me understand this. Yeah. And then,
sorry.
yes.
Sorry, no, go on, finish. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go on. I was going to try to look at the notes at the same time. Go on.
I've got a good way of working out my numbers and doing things like that, but obviously it's all handwritten. When I had my mentorship, he said, I want you to do it like this so you understand it, which I understand it now. And we got given like a Excel spreadsheet how to do it within 10 minutes, because obviously I understand it now. I don't need to be spending half an hour to an hour working it out when I need to get an offer in quickly. I messaged the person who did the spreadsheet and they said they was going to call me and stuff. They still haven't. I was wondering if you had a spreadsheet, or I could send you maybe an email to show you what I've got and try it, because I just don't understand how to use it. It's quite confusing and I need something quicker than hand, paper and pen.
I use hand, paper and pen because I like to get down and personal. But Ben, yeah, you got my email address, haven't you?
Yeah.
I've got to say, we've chatted loads of times on email. Yeah, drop me the spreadsheet over. I'll have a look at it for you.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. Very welcome. Simon, you were saying something on your thing. What did you have to say? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, Janette, I've been typing away like mad. I'll shut up.
I know. Go on, Simon. No, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I'm living with him.
Simon wants you on the panel as the deal clinic by the looks of it.
I just come back every 6 months and do. It's actually, honestly, it's really refreshing to see you actually being honest about the market, you know, and how bonkers it is out there. And what I put in there basically is the biggest thing that I see is that people are buying a house next door to a great house for £5 less than these 30 grand's worth of work, because they think buy, refurbish, refinance fixes everything. But if you're buying it £5 less than the house next door that's in great nick, all you're doing is parking 25 grand in the house for no reason. And so many people do that. And I have great fun buying the house next door for a good price for my clients and renovating it in a couple of weeks' time and getting them cash flow in 3 weeks' time, not 6 months' time, and not parking 25 grand extra in the deal. It's just, you have to learn how to work in this market. That's all.
And I totally get that. You have to learn how to work in this market. You have to factor in other things.
It's a cost of money thing, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You didn't go into it here, but your cost of money gets affected by a lot of this, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just talking to your angels, talking to whatever about getting your money for longer. Isn't it really a solution?
Look, if I had another couple of hours, I would go on, I would show you a compounding interest calculator. What are they called? Amortization, is that right? Anyway, no, compound interest calculator. And I'd say, okay, 150,000 over 5 years at 3%, what's it going to be worth in 5 years' time? Yeah. And if I get an angel that the cash flow will cover that angel, I can have none of my own money, and that's an infinite return on investment. I need 30,000 grand from £30,000 from an angel.
Just Janette, for people who are struggling with the numbers a little bit, I'll pop into the chat box. There's a really good real estate calculator that you can get on Android and App Store. I think there's a version of it that's about £8 and there's a version of it that's about £20. There are 4 buttons you need to know. You can do loan interest calculations. You can do obviously monthly payments, which are interest only, capital and interest terms, and you can amortize loans on that. And I'll pop them in. It's really good. I'll show you the one that I have. It's exactly the same as this one. I've been using this for years. Says me looking at it. That's what it looks like. It looks like a straightforward calculator, guys. But when let me close it down so you can see it. It's this little app here. Sorry, I hope you can see that. And I'll pop the links to it. I've no affiliation with it whatsoever, but I use this and it's really good. And I say there are 4 buttons. The 4 buttons are the loan amount, the payment, the term you're paying over, the interest rate, and you'll see there are other buttons like amortizing loans, and it will do all that in a simple calculator that's on your phone. So if you have to do it on the hoof, this is a really, really good calculator. It won't factor in all your holding costs and all that business. However, to get those first numbers done, this is really, really, really nifty. So, and as I've been using it for at least 10 years now. I have a proper calculator that does this. And then when they brought it out in the App Store, I thought, yeah, gotta get one of those. So I'll share that with you guys. Because yeah, don't always trust spreadsheets because it's very easy. Spreadsheets are great. I use a lot of spreadsheets. I love them. But if you give it to someone and they mess up the formula, it can mess up all your calculations. On this thing, you can't really mess up your formula. And you definitely learn how to do the thing manually, as well as learning how to use a spreadsheet or whatever. But yeah, I'll pop these links to that calculator in the chat box.
Simon, what's that thing you use for stamp duty as well? I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't really run the numbers anymore. I just go out and speak to loads of people.
I actually I do it off a website. Actually, I use a stamp duty
HMRC.
calculator on a website, but because it updates live all the time.
Yeah, I use a
Well,
stamp duty calculator on the website.
Yeah, it's
It's funny though, Janette, because I've not been running numbers for ages because it's just not part of my job role anymore. But actually, that was really good fun. You made it dead easy, so it was nice to do. So thank you.
Oh, it's dead easy.
Missed it. Missed it.
It's not that easy.
Not that easy.
Not when you're starting out and there's so many other things and your brain just my brain just sizzled.
The first time I ever saw these numbers, it took me a whole day in a classroom with Mr. Green teaching me to get my head around this stuff. Now I can, Ben, yeah. And honestly, now I can do